Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, bots and cons, to Tech Talk, the officially unofficial Transformers TCG podcast. I'm joined, as always, by Scott of VectorSigma.info, and we are back for part 2 of this set of reveals for Siege 2. Last time we covered all of the new and exciting bot cards, as well as some news about a couple charity events, as I've mentioned earlier in the previous episode. Definitely check out Cameron over on Arbitrary Hero for more information. He's doing some work for Extra Life, and it's a great cause. So just want to give him a quick shout out. But let's get into the actual reveals, Scott. We actually, at the time of the recording, the reality is we just finished up, even though this sounds like a fresh episode, but we just got done talking about Mercenaries, and we're going to get into their supplemental cards shortly. But any other thoughts you wanted to add for them on this totally new and totally separate episode?
No.
Okay. Then we'll get right into it. So, as I prefaced in the last one, typically I've been doing these in alphabetical order or pseudo-alphabetical order. It's organized a little bit differently because we wanted to group all of the reveals that we just got a few hours ago together. So, and again, in advance, I apologize that some of them are, well, we quite plainly got them off of Twitter. We'll get into that once we get to them. So our first card up is Terrifying Resilience. It's an orange-black armor. It can't be put on Autobots. It's a Decepticon card, and it provides tough 2. So we have yet another card in the series of reinforced plating variants. I know there's some oddball scenarios that we're probably going to get into, Scott, or maybe not oddball, but maybe not the first ones that come to people's minds. Is this one exciting to you outside of those specific decks?
Outside of the oddball deck?
Yeah. Like, are you playing this in anything other than the combo deck I'm sure we're about to get into?
Yeah, I'm going to play it in Shockwave, and I'm going to probably play it in Mercenary decks, I would think.
That's fair, yes, because it does specifically say it can't be put on Autobots, but not that it's required for Decepticons. Good call. So do you want to dive into explain what I'm kind of being coy about explaining or elaborating on?
No, I mean, we talked last week about the Decepticon, well, whatever.
Overwhelming Advantage, I think it's called.
Yeah, and now we're getting more black-based playable upgrades. So,
Combat Dagger, this is not.
Yes. So as we start to reach a critical mass of those, that card becomes more and more playable. And I think this is one of the key pieces because now you have a orange-black armor instead of just a orange-black weapon. So you can put that in a different slot to allow that card to actually come through.
Yeah, and it, in conjunction with other, there are a number of other things that can fit into that deck or variations of that deck that give this more redundancy. I'm thinking the Hunker Downs of the world to try and find it, that allow you to build it together. And like you said, it's important that it's this pip combination in this slot as opposed to any of the other ones, because you'd rather have other upgrades in those slots because of green pips or other reasons.
Yep. So
I am looking forward to this card. I think the artwork's really cool. It gives me an excuse to, air quotes, play Astro Train.
I was going to say, isn't the artwork just Astro Train standing there? Yeah,
Astro Train, everybody lighting him up, and he just doesn't care. Like I said, it's a good way to pretend that I get to play him because of some of the other bots. I don't think Astro Train himself may get a whole lot of play outside of Limited, but another discussion. So, any other thoughts for Terrifying Resilience? I know this one's kind of basic, and we outlined everything, but anything else you want to add on it?
No, I just think it's like I was updating Shockwave decks today with Siege 2, and it was definitely an inclusion because it is a Decepticon card.
Yeah.
And it, as a mostly blue deck with a few oranges splashed here or there, I think it's just powerful to be able to get that off the top of the deck and also get a pretty significant armor boost out of it.
Absolutely. And you do kind of get your own, you get to build your own Hunker Down in that deck with Reclaim.
Yep.
So we'll move on from Terrifying Resilience into Unflinching Courage, which is the Autobot version of this card, air quotes, since you can put it on Mercenaries. It's a blue-black pip weapon. Can't be put on Decepticons and grants Bolt 2. So, Windblade has another double pip card.
Sure.
Anything else where you're looking to try and run this, Scott?
No, I think this is worse than the other one because there's no shockwave on the Autobot side.
Yeah.
It's not even to me like a little better now because of the Mercenaries, because I just don't see the point of having a blue flamethrower. So
yeah, if you wanted a blue flamethrower, I would imagine you're just playing backup beam.
Right.
Like, so, if you really had a good reason, why would you not want it all the time? I don't think the black pip is worth this.
Yeah, I don't think this card's very good.
Yeah, I'm not going to dwell on it because I don't really have much else to add.
Yeah.
So moving from there, we have Blast Suit, which is a blank pip star card. It's an armor. If the upgraded character would take attack damage, instead it takes half that damage rounded down, and you scrap this card. So it's a really weird force field.
I mean, weird is one word we could use to describe it, I guess.
I'm trying to be... I don't want to say unplayable, but do you want to say it?
I can figure out the break point as to where this is better than force field, but the answer is
not often
much.
Enough. Yeah,
Right.
That's exactly it. I was doing the same thing earlier, or when we first saw it, and then I got distracted with the other reveals, so I didn't continue. But I don't see enough scenarios where, well, let's put it this way: if this didn't have a star,
it's still unplayable.
Yeah, it's just there are compounding issues with this where it just doesn't feel like it's going to do enough, even for the barricades and the sky warps of the world.
Yeah, this is not good. This has to do a lot more for a star and be blank. I really don't unless I'm missing something, I just don't understand the extra hoops you have to jump through for this card at all.
Yeah, the star card really makes me scratch. The star on it rather makes me really scratch my head on this card. I don't know. Anytime I see this is just a general star card commentary in general, but anytime I see them, I'm assuming it has to be with one of the regrowth characters. And by regrowth, for anybody out there not familiar with it, it's an old Magic card, but your Battlefield Legends, your Sky Warps, your Needle Noses. I mean, yes, it specifically only gets star cards, but things that let you recur battle cards from your scrap pile to your hand to play them again, or find some way to get them back into circulation, because odds are you're only running one of them, because otherwise your characters really suffer. And I don't know, if I was only going to run one star card, I'm struggling to think of why it would be this one.
Yeah, I just don't get it at all, because I just don't see where. I mean, it's still going to be vulnerable to bashing shield, so I just don't get why this is. Even mathematically, if it's not as good as force field, I just don't get it. If it was undestroyable or something like that, I could see it, but it's not. So I just don't understand it at all.
A utility?
Yeah, I really don't get it at all.
I don't know. I got nothing else. So we'll go on to other cards. So we'll go on to probably one that's more interesting to talk about, and that's Composite Armour. So it's another orange-black armor. It gives +1 static attack and +3 static defense. It can only go on tanks. And when the upgraded character defends, scrap this card after the battle. Then, if you flipped at least a black pip that battle, do 1 damage to the attacker. Can I safely assume that this has you more enthused, Scott?
Yeah, this card's good.
So it has a lot of text. It does a lot of things. What has you most excited about this thing?
It's an armor you don't mind playing on a character that you're also going to be swinging with, because it does give you an attack buff, even though it's small, but it's not small on Demolisher. So,
yeah,
who happens to be a tank. So,
yes.
It's a permanent grenade launcher on Demolisher.
Well, I guess until they attack, but yeah.
Well, I mean, it does its job and then dies. So, I mean, like, there's that aspect of it.
Probably Demolisher too, but yes.
Nah, he'll have a lot more armor at that point.
Yeah, he has 7 armor, so maybe not. That makes it a much taller wall to climb.
Yeah. If it does get bashing shielded away, you did get some use out of it. I mean, that's because you did get +1 attack out of it. And if it sticks around, I mean, it's a obviously much better blast shield. That also can potentially do a damage to your opponent, even if you're not playing a significant amount of blacks in your deck. It basically gives you a reason. It lessens the hurt of having a black flip on defense.
Yes.
Which is, I think it's the only card that does that, which is one of my biggest complaints with black pips.
Yeah. And as you spoke about in the not to cut you off, when you spoke about it in the bot section, that the damage is not going to be insignificant. It might be, because depending on who your opponent attacks with and what your follow-up attack is going to be, is it post-wheel and that's your only target, so they offer up something that's going to die anyway, but the damage could matter.
Yeah. This is also really good with the new Megatron.
I was about to say, I'm sure you were going to bring it up, but yeah.
So, yeah, this is really good. This is exactly what an underrepresented alt mode tribe needs.
Yeah. This is a pretty solid reason to play tanks. Like and I'm encouraged because I've been looking for excuses to play tanks as opposed to a tank, like somebody who happens to be a tank. Like, this is a reason to be a tank.
Yeah, and it specifically fits in with both Impactor. It fits in with the deck makes itself. I mean, Impactor, Demolisher, and Word Megatron all benefit from this card. So,
yep.
To me, this is just very powerful. I think it's it really helps. It really helps decks a lot.
Yeah, I'd agree. The artwork's a little weird to me. I don't know. I don't know what I was expecting, but I don't know. I don't know what I was expecting with Composite Armour, but this is not what I was picturing. But it's fine. I really do like this card as well. My first thought, along with many other people, as you said, was Megatron, although it clearly quickly went to other things. I expect I'm going to be sleeving this up or proxying it up anyway a lot to see how much I can utilize this going forward.
Yeah, also note that the combat patrol, the tanks that we've all previewed, are the orange based battle masters. So I mean Micromaster. So they need, I think the way we had been building tank decks defensively, we were like, oh, well, there's not going to be that many orange cards in our deck. Well, this is one that you're definitely going to have in your tank deck now, so it gives a perfect out for them as well.
Exactly. And it's one of those things where, because of their abilities, you get your double, quote-unquote, action phase. You get 2 actions in, the treasure hunt off of the guy, and then you play your actual one, which could be a hunker down to put this thing right back into play.
Right. Exactly.
So there's definitely a lot of potential for this thing, and I'm looking forward to trying it out.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully the history of tanks doesn't cause it to end up being a red herring or anything. So
yes,
we'll see. So we have one other normal reveal, I guess, before we get into the ones from today, and that is Indestructible Sword. So this is another double black pip card, another star card. It gives a static +2 attack as a weapon, and when this is scrapped from a character, return it to your hand. Tell me all the wonderful things about this, Scott.
If it had the multi-tool ability built into it, I would say it was playable. But because it doesn't, the fact that it comes back to your hand means virtually nothing.
Yeah, the Off-Road Patrol, I believe, is the one that does the black pips. So I'm not super excited to utilize it for them. So, you play it on a guy, it somehow bounces, and then, okay, I have fuel to feed into one of those Micromasters. That scenario isn't super enticing. I'm not really sure where else you would want this, to be honest. It's a primary laser. It just happens to have double black pips.
It could be +3, and I still don't think it's playable.
Well, I mean, it probably would never get +4, so...
Yeah. The issue in this game is about actions that you take to get the stats, not I don't have the card in my hand to play. I mean, just play more green weapons if you feel like you're having problems drawing a weapon every single turn. I don't understand it's like a world that doesn't have green pips.
Would you play it or would you consider it? Obviously, I think I know the answer to would you play it, but would you consider it if it didn't have the star?
Consider it, sure. It would still be unplayable, but I mean,
it's another. So we've seen a number of double black pip cards, and maybe it's just this way because of limited, and that's why it ends up pushing the star on there, pushing the way they attack, stuff like that. I don't know. I'm not that excited about double black pips, and I feel like that's part of what's holding this back.
That doesn't even matter to me. It's this.
Well, I mean, I think it could have had better.
I still wouldn't care.
It could have had an aggressive pip and no star or something if it was, say, 1 orange, and I don't know if I would even care about it then, but there are a lot of things that are going wrong with this, I think.
Yeah, decks just aren't built to have so few weapons that you need one that constantly comes back to your hand.
Yeah. I'm thinking this scenario where you want this, and again, this is one of those weird ones, is if there's a character that eats your own upgrades, and you somehow get free upgrades, and then you cycle this to cause another infinite loop with pings or something. I can't think of anything off the top of my head that already exists, but that's where I see this sort of card niche. And
if there was or like when you play a weapon, even that wouldn't even matter.
That's what you would need for that sort of thing to exist, where it's okay. I run this. One of my bots eats my own upgrades, on demand. Another one pings when I play an upgrade. And then somehow I get extra upgrade steps in a turn. And then I loop this a gazillion times and kill your team.
Or you even just do it for value. But you can do it for value, but I still don't even see where that's going to matter.
Right now, certainly. I don't even think those cards exist off the top of my head right now. Maybe they will down the line, but even then you're still limited because it's star cards, so it's just...
Right.
It is what it is.
Yep.
So, I guess we'll close up on the quote-unquote normal reveals. So, as we started out with, these... And we mentioned on the previous show, these were all officially debuted by Hasbro. There were a number of people and groups and content creators involved in getting these pictures. So these were all collated from a variety of sources like Twitter and Facebook and stuff. Hence why they're cropped a little bit weird and not quite as clean as they normally are. So shout out to all those groups and people, TFW 2005, TFU.info, Radio Free Cybertron, and probably a bunch of other people that I'm forgetting, but we appreciate the efforts getting these to us because it was kind of a surprise thing for these with the whole Mercenaries in general. So our first one up, before we dive in, I know we went over all of the bounties and stuff in the bot section, Scott. Do you want to cover any of those again? Anything you want to say before we dive into the cards themselves?
No, we'll just talk about it when we reference the cards that reference bounties.
Sounds good. Well, we're going to be getting to that very quickly. So the first one up is Contract Contingency. It is a double black pip card. Choose one of your characters. It gets +2 attack until end of turn. When the chosen character does 4 or more attack damage to an enemy this turn without KOing it, use one of your chosen character's bounty abilities. So bounties are, again, we went over it in the bot section. If you haven't seen the cards, it's when with a character with a bounty ability does enough attack damage to KO an opponent, you trigger the bounty. Obviously, this card allows you to get around that. So is this doing enough to justify it, Scott?
Oh, yeah.
I would agree with you, but take it away.
I mean, this just has whatever the bounty ability is, should have just tacked on to the card. I guess the only downside is that if you're facing off against a blue deck, I guess there's a chance you don't actually do the 4 attack damage with certain mercenaries. But,
yeah, I don't think the ones that... So, outside of Nightbird, the other ones seem to have large enough attack values that you probably should.
I would imagine so. I mean, like especially the larger ones that, you know...
I mean, I could certainly envision scenarios where you wouldn't, you know, if you don't have... Like, you play this onto Octane, and then you don't have the armor removal to get rid of their armor. I could see you hypothetically only getting in for 3 against certain characters.
I guess.
I think that would still be a difficult scenario to concoct, but you might be pushed into that position where it's like, okay, I got to try it, but
set it up to.
Oh God, Scott, you sound like you're 1,000 miles away. What'd you do?
Hang on, I just got to switch earbuds.
Okay, I was like, he fell into the land of Oz, and we lost him. So yeah, while we're waiting for Scott to get ready, I see back. Aqua. Okay, chat's not convinced on mercenaries yet, so convince us with contract contingency, Scott.
I mean, you get a decent combat buff, and if you don't kill the character, like, you get the bounty either. Like, first of all, it's probably better. Okay, so let's talk about Octane, for example.
Yes,
there's going to be situations where, like, so just think of it as if you're facing off against an orange deck, you're basically just getting either the character killed, which you may not even want to do, or so you're either getting the character killed, so you're getting the bounty ability, or you're getting the bounty ability through this card by doing 4 damage, which against any orange deck you should be able to do guaranteed.
That yeah,
for any of the mercenaries. So
I mean, to be fair, you should probably be getting the bounty to begin with, but I could see where
not necessarily.
If you're attacking, that's what I was about to follow it up with. If you're attacking, their good character, you may not be one-shotting them or have already damaged them in some other fashion.
Yeah, so you're definitely going to be setting up scenarios where, like, you're doing a significant chunk of damage to one character and then either plasma bursting another character through Octane or healing 3 through the dump truck guy, or
yeah,
playing a card out of their scrap pile with Nightbird, or what are the other? Putting the card underneath them with the. It's really good with that guy. The
lockdown one, though, who gets +2 attack. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, because especially we talked about with him last episode, the because he's a card, the number of times to untap, you're definitely, like, you're getting this card basically just has the bounty abilities tacked onto it. So you're basically getting +2 attack, not killing a guy. Okay, like, you're either killing a guy or you're getting, or just imagine the card reads +2 and get the bounty ability. I mean, you would play any battle card that had those effects on them, right?
Yeah. I see the counterpoint in chat about that, given hidden fortifications and some of the other new toys that blue decks are getting, I can see the argument where you wouldn't, it isn't necessarily as guaranteed maybe as people may be interpreting what you're saying, but I think you can engineer the scenarios where it's pretty likely, or there will, of course...
Weapons exist, right?
Well, there's that, and it's also, they're not always going to have it. Or, if you're playing against a blue deck, you're potentially going to get multiple chances to accomplish it, you know, whichever character you're happen to be trying to punch. I think this card does not have a star on it. Obviously, if you're running these, you have black pips in your deck. I don't think it's going to be too difficult to accomplish it. And on the characters that you want to trigger their bounties, a lot of them already have relatively strong base attack values. And at worst, it's, okay, you get +2 attack. Like, just go kill the guy if you need to.
I mean, it's just heavy-handed, right? Like, at worst. Like, at absolute, like...
Well, to be fair, it doesn't get the Pierce, because that would make this card an auto, but yes, I get your point.
But I mean, heavy-handed doesn't get the Pierce often either on the decks that actually... The decks that played heavy-handed didn't always get the Pierce off it. It was just that, okay, I'm +2 attack, and then occasionally I get Pierce. That's exactly why we played it at Origins in our Battlefield Legend deck. It wasn't because we were always going to get the Pierce, it's because the occasions where we did... It was an extra added bonus. This is exactly the same situation, except for more powerful, more likely to go off, and way more significant if it does go off. So I don't see the downside of this at all. Like,
I mean, if you're playing a bounty character, I expect you're going to be running this.
You're not going to run it when you're not running a bounty character.
But what I was going to follow it up with is... I could see the argument where the jury is out on whether the bounty characters are worth it in general compared to the alternatives.
Okay.
So I get why somebody might not necessarily be all in on the concept, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
But
sure.
Yeah, I mean, for the sake of presenting all sides, I guess. But I do actually like this thing. I do like a number of the bounty characters personally, so I expect I'm clearly gonna be trying it myself. So,
I mean, this is the reason why they're good. Like, so if you don't like this card, then you don't like bounty characters. It doesn't work the opposite way.
Right.
This is what makes them good. So So the opposite situation cannot exist, like, in my opinion. Like, this is why they're good, because it gives you a way to proc the bounty ability for value outside of combat. Like, not outside of combat, but I mean outside of, like, the conditions to actually proc the bounty. Like, I actually can't believe this card doesn't have a star on it and doesn't that actually has pips on it. Not that they're relevant in attack and defense.
There's that.
Sort of relevant.
There's that.
I mean, it helps proc the ability itself, which is why it's double black. But, like, I'm fine with this being a blank. Like, I think it's that powerful. So
that's a pretty strong statement.
Yeah.
Well, we'll anything else you want to add for contract contingency before we move on from there?
No, I can't fathom how people wouldn't like this card. I can't fathom it's not rare either, right? It's only uncommon, right?
It is an uncommon.
I can't fathom that either. I'm shocked this is not a rare.
Well, like we talked about last time, I don't know it's not always necessarily about the power level. So,
I mean, it's just it's so niche that I would have assumed it would have been a rare also. So
that's reasonable. I could see that. I think because the first line of text, nothing on there specifically requires a mercenary or bounties for that matter. That's why they're willing to do it there.
That's fine.
So, moving from there, we have Coup, which is a single black pip secret action. When you reveal it when a character is KO'd, and when revealed, use a bounty ability of one of your cards on the battlefield. Notably, it's when a character is KO'd, not an opposing character.
And when it doesn't have to, if you play it during your action phase, if you kill a character on their like one of their characters, you basically either get the bounty ability twice, or you get a bounty ability from a guy that wasn't even the attacker.
Right. That's, I think, going to be the more common one, I would guess. But in both scenarios, you're pretty happy about that.
Like, I guess it's a secret action because you can get it on either turn, but this is like a secret action you actually get to manipulate how it happens.
Right.
So, like, that's really good. I think this is really good. Like, I don't see what, I mean, it has bad pips. That's the only downside to it.
But it helps the card we were just talking about, Scott. It helps guarantee the 4 damage.
Sure.
Well, that is something I was going to bring up, though, is the pips. Is that so? Clearly, you're starting off your mercenary decks with a lot of the last card and a lot of this one, I would expect.
I don't think you're a lot of this one, but sure.
But you're already at a relatively significant number of non-directly combat-related pips, so you're not orange, you're not blue. That very quickly squeezes out the other ones. So do you get, does that concern you about that build?
No, because I just think you don't play a lot of this card. I think this is just a card that suffers from the other cards being better.
Right.
But it doesn't make this bad. It just doesn't make it as good. That's all.
That's reasonable. I mean, it's one of those things that I always try and be conscious of as I'm building stuff, that you can very quickly overload things and end up, hey, 20 cards in my battle deck are not the quote-unquote primary pip color. And then your combat math gets really weird for obvious reasons.
Yeah, I guess I just kind of wish that I guess I wish that there was a mercenary that was cheaper, because obviously whenever I see a secret action, my mind immediately goes to Shockwave. And he really can't play this. So
yeah.
Because like the cheapest one is 7, which means you have to run your 14-7-4 again.
Yeah, and that has proven, well, I mean, it's a thing, but
it's proven to be not as good.
Yes.
So that'd be my only concern, I guess, is that, like, as a essentially blank secret action, I just wish there was just more ways to play this more efficiently. But I think the power level of the card, considering you're playing good mercenaries, is there.
Right.
I really like the fact that the character that you use to activate the ability does not have to be the character's actually attacking.
Yes. I think that's crucial.
Yeah.
Now, Chad is actually pointing out something that was going to be my next point once you had finished up your thought, and that is, I'm pretty sure that secret actions clear at the end of the turn they are revealed. Is that accurate?
I mean, they don't stick around your opponent. They can't proc more than once.
Well, because it's only when revealed, so it's not going to matter. You're not going to get the double scenario of you find a way to kill your guy on your turn, reveal it, activate the bounty, and then do it again, because it's only when it's revealed.
They actually don't clear until your opponent's turn.
Right.
So they actually just sit there. Like, if you have to reshuffle, they will not reshuffle back in.
Right.
So they actually just sit there. But
they sit in play. Yeah,
all of them say when revealed.
Yeah, it's a when revealed trigger. That's what it is.
Yeah, so you can't, like, if there was a card that said, like, redo the ability on a secret action, I guess that would matter.
That sounds like a lot of things to attach to
Right.
trigger. I mean, I like the bounty abilities, but that might be going a couple steps too far.
Yeah. Well, I guess it matters for that stupid do a damage for every secret action there is or whatever, that one. Like, it sticks around.
I forgot about that. Yeah, you're right.
So, sure, it matters for that one.
Right.
Found a use for that, for it not going.
We got it.
Yeah.
We did it, folks. So, any other thoughts for this one?
No, it's good, but I just don't know how many of you are actually going to be able to fit in the deck.
Yeah, exactly. So next one up is Crude Club. It's a blue pip weapon. The upgraded character has +1 attack for each upgrade on it. I guess if this hits Energon X levels, okay, because it does count itself. But are you excited to try and load somebody up with this, Scott?
No.
I mean, it's fine. I guess because this set has had a lot of, you have your Spinisters, you have your Crosshairs, you have your new Optimus, all the ones that allow you to play, a whole bunch of like extra upgrades. So you have that scenario where you pump it up real big, but I guess you could have just played a +3 weapon 5 turns ago.
I mean, it's extra padding. It has to have all 3 of them out, and then you play this, and you're a grenade launcher, like a blue grenade launcher. I don't think that's good enough.
Yeah, I'm still expecting that we're going to get that white-green utility that has the extra padding / attack drone, or X-green. It doesn't necessarily have to be a white-green utility in this set. So there is something, but yeah, I'm not going to be super enthused to open this as my rare right now.
Yeah, I just don't.
I mean, even fully suited, like you said, like normally fully suited, it's just a bad energon, a non-conditional plate energon. It's not that big of a deal.
I mean, I do like the idea of a blue pip 3-attack weapon, but this one has some extra hoops for it.
Yeah, like a lot of upgrade phases.
Yes, you would be correct. So we'll move on from Crude Club. The next one up is Dual Wield, which is another double black pip. It is one of your...
Not a wild card?
You are correct. It is not a wild card. Or is it? When one of your characters... excuse me, I can't read. One of your characters gets an extra weapon slot until end of turn. If that character is a mercenary, you may play a weapon from your scrap pile onto it. Is this one of the ones you were referring to when you said it's worthwhile to play a mercenary, Scott?
Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
It says you get to play weapons. It says you get to play cards from the scrap pile, right?
Yeah. When I saw that line, I was pretty taken aback. I'm not going to lie. It was one of those scenarios, like it's a brand new card. I don't know what the hell I'm expecting, but I don't expect typically to see get a card from your scrap pile and put it into play or just play it very often.
Is this card rare?
This is uncommon.
Jeez.
They're handing you all the tools to go build your mercenary deck.
I wish they would hand me $10 bills.
Well, there's that.
I mean, to be honest with you, but
now this does so. Now we're up to 3 potentially non-blue, non-orange cards that you're running in your hypothetical mercenary deck. Because this one, I assume you're going to run 3 of. You want to see it a lot,
unless you're running. Well, no, it's even good with battlement. There's no downside to this card whatsoever.
Yeah. So you get an extra weapon slot until end of turn. Typically,
the weapon then falls off, right? Obviously.
Well, but that's the thing. So say you had a Battlemaster on there, you put another weapon on. Are you required to get rid of the Battlemaster because of time stamps?
No, you would choose.
I would assume you'd choose, but just for the sake of asking.
I don't think the weapon that actually goes in the new weapon slot is the weapon that has to go away.
Yeah,
I'm wrong, but I don't think so.
I'm sure that's going to be a clarification, of course. I like this thing. I think there's... Oh, Jack called it out. It's you can get back arm hovercrafts, for example.
Yeah, of course.
I think there's potential for this.
Yeah, you can get back a lot of insane things. This card's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, just the easy ones of this basically replaces Treasure Hunt in Mercenary decks. Or any of those types of effects.
Yeah.
Any of those type of effects.
Now, it does consume your action step for the turn, so it's not as though you're going weapon.
Treasure Hunt doesn't.
No, it doesn't consume your action.
No, what I'm saying is it's not going to... You can't have super blowout turns of weapon action.
No, you get weapon, which
Yes.
you can't do. You can't do. It's like at worst, a new design's out of the graveyard. I mean, like, or out of the scrap pile. Like that's insane.
But I don't think saying new designs out of the scrap pile is selling it very well, because new designs is not really very thrilling. The fact that you go get, you've said it before, your scrap pile is an extension of your hand. So that grenade launcher you played 3 turns ago is back, along with the one you played this turn.
Yes. This can also get you the triple changer card for Octane.
Wait, is that a weapon?
Oh no, it's not a weapon. That's right, it's weapons. My bad.
Okay.
No, I think it's a utility, but it gives you is it a weapon? It gives you +1 attack.
It does give you +1, but I'm pretty sure it's a utility.
Oh well, damn. But still, who cares?
Yeah. Yeah, I do like this because now you're playing 6 grenade launchers. Well, but who cares? You're playing 6 grenade launchers.
Well, it's not just that. It's like 6 armor overgrafts, like whatever. But like, I'm trying to think if there's a weapon that like, because like, there's no mercenary. I assume they're going to have like, signature weapons right now. So there's nothing that like
we've seen nothing to that effect, and I can't imagine the ones we have, like the mercenary characters. I mean, Drift. When Deadlock becomes Drift, he has swords is the notable thing for him, but I can't think like Octane doesn't have anything. Most people,
if there's a triple changer only weapon, you get access to that, or like or whatever. But I mean, this is really good with like kinetic whip, but this is really good with, I don't know. It's really good with anything. It doesn't really matter. Like, any weapons you're playing should be good enough where this is good. Like, I don't know how else to say it. Like, this makes Erratic Lightning have no downside, for example, because the weapon would just go away anyway if it's your second weapon. So like, there's scenarios like that where like the downside doesn't even matter. This obviously helps with enforcement batons and with this helps with that's the ones that when they die, when they go away, like the weapon destroys weapons, the armor destroys armors, like all those, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. There is a weapon that does that.
Dismantling claw or whatever it's called.
Not 6 shot. 6 gun might care because you're pitching weapons that then you can recur with this thing.
Yep. That's a good point. Drill Arms is really good with this because you can't get back bashing shield, but you can get a pseudo bashing shield out of the like this. Again, this would allow the toolbox nature of reclaim and things like that to matter.
Right.
Yeah, I see this card's awesome. I see no downside to it whatsoever.
Yeah,
like in a mercenary deck, of course. Like I obviously like. I don't think that getting an extra weapon slot is relevant. So. No,
I mean. Yeah, I don't want to invest that. No, it's I'm doing this. I need to at least get my combat buff or my trick, whatever it happens to be, to make it worthwhile. I don't want to be required to play it out of hand.
Did you I hadn't seen this card before. Valuable Contract. Did you get this card before?
Valuable Contract?
Yeah.
No, did we get like did I miss one, or is that like a live
I don't know. I saw it on Facebook. I'm going to send it to you now.
Okay. We're getting it. No, that is not one. And that come on. We know we didn't get that one because that one's too clean to be a
I know. You're right.
to be a reveal.
You're right.
All right, folks. We'll tack this one. Chat is telling me there are 4 new cards.
They're not 4 new cards. It's 4 new pictures.
Okay. Well, I'll get these into the overlay at the end. So apologize, everybody. It's going to be a little messed up. So any other thought?
Yeah, it's not 4 new cards. That's the only one that. Oh no, there's another. Hold on, there are new cards. God damn it!
No! Oh no! Where are you seeing it? Is it on Facebook?
I'm sending you. No, they're on Cybertron.
On Cybertron. Okay, somebody out there, I got to talk to those guys. Is it supposed to be Cybertron or is it Cybertron?
Oh, you're going to see one that I really like.
Okay, well,
for its pips alone. I don't even know what it
is
does.
is it the? Sorry, everybody out there who's very confused as to what we're talking about. Oh, Scott's sending them to me now. I'll pull them down. The next time I hand it off to you, Scott, I'm going to need a minute to try and get everything into the overlay. So I apparently rolled back. Any other thoughts for dual wield before we get into that other stuff?
No, it's really good.
Yeah, I like this card. Obviously, it's contingent on where mercenaries end up. There's a lot of potential for it. So, next one up is Lucky Vest. So this is another blank pip. So you have to be excited about this one, Scott. It's the law.
This is not the card you're making me talk about.
Okay, we'll find something else. But we only got one more, so you're running out of options. So Lucky Vest is a blank pick.
This is the grapple one, right?
Yes, it is. So it's a blank pick of armor. When the upgraded character defends and you flip battle icons of at least 4 different colors, that character can't take more than 4 attack damage this battle. Great.
Yep. Well, you jump through hoops, you get to be a force field. Got it.
Is that the third quote-unquote force field we've seen? Because we had the emergency blast shield or emergency something or other. The earlier one that we talked about tonight, and then this. Are there any more that I'm missing?
No, I don't understand why they keep making bad force fields.
I got nothing.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that and this is another one where I'm not going to be excited to open it up in limited. Or just in general. I'm not going to be real excited. There are a lot of articles on why bad cards have to exist, so I'll leave it at that.
Yep.
So the last one that's officially on the docket, as I'm trying to pull these down, is Opportune Offensive. It is a blue-black pip. Play this only if you had a mercenary on your starting team. One of your Decepticons gets +3 attack and Pierce 3 until end of turn. What are you thinking, Scott?
So other than this not having a green pip, this is on the power level of Press the Advantage, in my opinion, for Decepticons.
You're going that far with it?
Oh yeah, this is great.
I mean, I don't disagree with you that I think it's pretty strong, but I think most people are going to hear that and go, "Wow, that's a bold statement." So
that's fair. It's a fierce statement, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a leap into battle, faction only leap into battle. Also gives you Pierce 3. So I mean, as usual, you can argue about the value of Pierce.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're going to assume that it's good in this situation because it's similar to Bigger They Are, then I don't really see the downside of this compared to other ones at all.
I mean, yes, you have the requirement to have a mercenary, and again, without rehashing everything, I guess it's still a little unclear as to, is that a huge drawback? Right now, it doesn't appear to be. So I agree with you. At worst, it's a leap into battle. And that card has seen play. I don't necessarily see a huge issue with playing this card. Unless we somehow...
If you're playing a mercenary and, I guess, multiple Decepticons and a mercenary, you will play this in a blue deck, guaranteed. This will just be better than leap into battle, no doubt. This is the first time I've actually seen a black card that's better than
whatever
a blue
was
black
based
or
off of. Yeah,
that's better than
right.
So.
Yeah, it definitely, and I could have easily seen them say, "Oh, well, you have the drawback in the mercenary, so you just get plus." And I guess it's because there are technically 2 drawbacks. You require a mercenary; it has to be a Decepticon, so then you therefore get extra bonuses. But I think it comes out slightly ahead compared to where it could have been. They could have easily knocked off one of the pips. They could have not given you Pierce. They could have done, a number of different things. But I think this is fairly playable.
And you don't have to have the mercenary in You just had to have it
on your starting team. So there is the hypothetical scenario where your Merc is the only one left, and now you can't play this card, but
also
can't have
everything.
everything.
Be dead, and you can play this card.
Exactly. Yeah, that given you have the option in who you're sending out to be that sacrificial lamb, you're going to be able to play around it. So,
yep.
I actually was incorrect. There was one other before the new ones, and that's opportune repairs. That's the Autobot half of this. It's blue-black, play only if you have a Mercenary on starting team, repair 3 damage from one of your Autobots. Is repairing 3 enough for you to want to play this?
It has a pip, so I would assume yes.
I mentioned it when we were talking about Detritus earlier, but that 3 seems to be the point where, you know, like, you don't want to play medic. 3 is getting into the territory where this is potentially pretty relevant.
It's because it has a pip. If it was still blank, it wouldn't be playable.
Well,
because it has multiple pips. But I mean,
Scott, it has 1 pip.
Yeah, fair.
I mean, and I honestly think, you know, I'm very curious if an aggressive deck can run enough, because Autobots do have this repair sub-theme on a number of characters, and I think it's the uncommon Optimus from Wave 1 has Bold 2 in his bot mode, and then he flips to repair. So the question that I'm proposing is, are there enough orange pip repair things, or is this just enough in conjunction with those flips to say, okay, well, I can squeeze an extra attack out of my characters by healing enough, sort of thing. I don't know if it's there. It would be cool if that deck existed, or that hypothetical Ratchet deck that I was joking about a few weeks ago. Maybe. I mean, it's definitely a valiant attempt at this, if it's going to happen.
I think if you're running a Mercenary with, as the secondary character, I think, and the primary damage dealer is an Autobot, you're auto-running. Assuming it's an orange deck.
That's fair.
I think this is just an auto-include.
Yeah. So. I mean, like we said, it has all of the shapings to make this reasonable. If it's going to happen, this could be the card. So I'm willing to give it a whirl. I'm not going to be depressed to open this as my rare.
Nope.
So that's the end of the spoilers that we were aware of, and then we had 4 more come out. Do we know where these are officially from, Scott? You said it was Cybertron?
Yeah.
Oh, they have the actual... they could have done this a few hours ago.
I know. I'm putting them on the website.
Okay, yeah.
I'm not as talkative.
Yeah, as always, if you want to see all the spoilers we're talking about and all the previous ones, head on over to vectorsigma.info. Scott has been diligently updating the spoiler list there. And Cybertron appears to have brought us these 4X cards, as well as the official pictures of all the stuff we've been talking about for the last few hours. So, or at least some of them. I see the characters. I haven't, and yeah, there are the battle cards. We just got through opportune repairs. So first one up is Wedge Formation. So it is a triple pip card, orange, black, green. Repair 1 damage from one of your melee characters. If you have a ranged character on the battlefield, draw a card. If you have a specialist on the battlefield, plan 1. I think we all know which deck probably wants this card.
And that's probably the only deck that wants this card.
Come on, we were just talking about repair.deck. It has repair on it, Scott. Why wouldn't you play it?
Because I'm not 15ing you.
That was rhetorical.
They don't have a better Nightbird picture, I might add.
They don't have a better Nightbird? I'm sure that'll come soon.
Yeah. I have to find a picture of her.
Yeah, orange, black, green with no star. I'm trying to skim chat while I'm loading everything up. Is interesting. I do still agree with you, Scott, though, that as of right now, I don't really see a deck that wants this otherwise. Like, it just doesn't... It doesn't really do all that much.
So what are the abilities again?
Repair 1, draw 1, plan 1. Melee ranged specialist. So really Oh god.
Draw 1 is not good enough. Repair 1 is certainly not good enough, and
No.
Plan 1 is, I mean, it's green, right?
Yes, it's green.
So it's basically green-orange secret dealings, right?
Secret dealings is white.
Yeah. But yeah, so like if you have a specialist and a ranged character, it's green-orange secret dealings, right?
Yeah. Yes, because you do it in that order. As opposed to planning first and then drawing or something, which would be real bad.
So I guess that's not terrible. I mean, like, it's green-orange secret dealing. And secret dealings to me is going to be more playable. I to be honest with you, I'm starting to look at in case there's like a siege block format, and like I'm like a lot of cards in this set require certain pips to be on top, and I think that's where this could come into play.
I'm never I played secret dealings in a couple of decks, not extensively, but I'm never super excited to play it. So while I agree with you, it's an orange-green secret dealings, and I don't think having a ranged and specialist simultaneously is that much to ask, especially given that it's green, so you go find it early on and play it if you really want to, but I don't know if I care enough. Like, there seems to be more often way more important things that I could be doing outside of the obvious combo deck where, okay, I got my triple pips, or I have it and I'm trying to set up for following turns.
Oh, I'm using this to 15 people.
Well, yes, the obvious combo deck, yes. That's what I was referring to. I mean, that deck, I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's probably running at least a copy of this card.
I would think so.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I just don't... Outside of that is where I'm going with them. I just don't really see a whole lot of value in other decks for this.
Fair.
Now, as I'm staring at it, it does... Because this goes back to our discussion actually during the conversation about the combo deck of... There previously were not a whole lot of black pip cards that did anything you wanted of value. So, combat daggers of the world, while having pips that matter. I mean, I still don't really care too much about the black pip, because if you care about the orange, you're probably orange enough anyway, but I guess there's something there, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, you'll play this, but it's not as... Secret Dealing is actually more important in that deck than this is, to be honest.
Well, but extra copies of Secret Dealings, so...
Right.
It's green, so maybe...
5 pips you need.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's really just the pips. Yeah. So our next one up, unless you had anything else you wanted to add on that one.
Nope.
Okay. Next one up is Soldier's Blaster. It's a green pip, 1 attack weapon. When the upgraded character attacks an enemy from a different faction, the upgraded character gets +2 attack until end of battle. So it becomes a 3 attack weapon. The factions are Autobots. It's what?
Common, right?
It's a common.
Right? This is a limited card, right?
I would assume. It does delineate that the factions are Autobot, Decepticon, and Mercenary specifically, but it's reminder text, so that's not official. So I hope people don't read into it as there will never be any other factions kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's a recurable or regrowthable 3 attack weapon, so that's hypothetically 3 attack weapon, so that's something to be said for it, I guess. I would anticipate that you're going to have more reasonable chances at getting the bonus, but that may not be the target you want to hit, so it just makes it more awkward.
This card's awful.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a value in it, because we're just seeing if, as opposed to the other cards where at least I had some time to think about it, I read it and it's like, okay, well, I got to try and think of something.
It's limited.
Yeah, exactly.
Limited. I don't even want to hear the sideboard. That's not coming into play. it's still blank. So this is awful.
Yeah, so I do think it's cute that it's Noble's Blaster, Scoundrel's Blaster, Soldier's Blaster. So.
Sure.
But anyway, moving on. So we have Shoulder Holster. It is a blue pip utility. The upgraded character has an extra weapon slot. When you put this on a character, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a weapon, play it onto the upgraded character.
Yeah, it's the other version of that thing we had.
The armor thing, which we knew was coming.
Yeah, this is not good.
No, it's... we knew it was coming.
It's like, I can't see a reason to ever play this other than, I don't know. I guess Optimus will really like this. Put 2 ion blasters on him? Is that allowed?
Yeah, he's dual wielding ion blasters.
Are you allowed to have 2 unique weapons on the same character? You can have 2 of them in play. So
Well, there's nothing on it there's nothing on the card that actually says it's unique. It just says play on Optimus.
Okay.
I'm trying to picture the card in my head right now, and I don't think there's any notation on it that says that it's unique.
And then I guess the new Optimus could play this card.
I guess. I mean, sure.
I mean, dual wielding ion blast is pretty good. So.
I agree. It's just I'm trying to think. It's one of those again. I'm just looking at it, just thinking about the scenario. Is it how feasible is that to happen? I guess it doesn't sound like it's wildly out there.
I mean, for the last one, we said the problem was that it was a blue card. I mean, it was an orange card. So this, at least being a blue card, helps that specific scenario.
Agreed. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I could see it. I just don't know how often it's going to... So you have to go to the lengths to set it up, because otherwise you're taking up your upgrade slot for the turn to, if it doesn't get the trigger, probably do nothing. I guess later on in the game you play it and play that spare ion blaster that you drew. So that's not the end of the world, even if you don't, get the trigger. So I guess I can see it.
But see, weapons are worth it to set up, because if you have one that's already in play, you then get the second one immediately and be able to...
Right.
So, again, it's a very specific scenario, but I think this is fringe playable.
Yeah, there's an outside chance. I can get behind that idea. After that, the one that you had actually started out with is Valuable Contract. So this is a black pip utility. When the upgraded character does enough attack damage to KO an enemy, use this card's bounty ability. And it has a bounty of choose a battle card you own from outside the game that has exactly 1 star and put it into your hand.
You choose a battle card that has a 1 star or a bounty?
Choose a battle card you own from outside the game that has exactly 1 star, but it's a bounty ability that's giving you that.
All right, so you get your bounty ability a second time, and you get a second bounty ability?
No, it gives... So you get... you put this on... It's giving any character a new bounty. Or an additional bounty.
Oh, but it's not giving you... Okay.
Yeah, so the first part of the text is explaining the usual bounty ability. When you kill somebody, you get the bounty. And the bounty is... You do the Weird Wish card.
Oh, so okay. When it said use this cards, I thought it was also saying you get the bounty ability twice.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I'm assuming when it's saying this card, it's referencing Valuable Contract, not the thing it's attached to.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes it worse, but...
Yeah, well, yes. When you get to do less things, it turns out it's usually worse.
I thought you got your bounty ability twice, and you got to also do this as a second bounty ability.
That would be pretty wild. This again falls into, okay, now we're really into the territory of if you're playing a mercenary deck, you could be way out there with a gazillion Black Pip cards. But this could go into a non-mercenary deck to give them bounty cards if you have star cards you really care about. The only deck I could think of was all those weird combo decks, and it would be very difficult, I would think, to set up killing one of their guys to then set up your combo to kill another one. That seems like a lot of hoops.
I mean, this is good with Needle Nose, right?
I guess. I mean, with Needle Nose, I feel as though if you really wanted to... So yes, you could then play a quote-unquote normal lineup, and just one of them happens to be Needle Nose. But then you have to find this, get a kill, and then still have Needle Nose in a position to... Because you'd still have to be 3 wide, I think. Meaning your second character has to kill someone to let Needle Nose do it in time.
But he only costs 8. He's only 8 stars, right?
Yeah, I think he's only 8. I'm pretty sure he's 8, not 9. I mean...
Hold on, I have a bunch in a box right here.
I'm like 99% sure he's 8. So I can see that. So if you manage to engineer that scenario, you go get Bolt of Lightning. It's just the first thing I thought of. It could be Leap. Sure. It could be whatever.
Yeah, he's 8 stars.
You play it, ping their guy, do your thing. If Needle Nose lives, you can recur it after the wheel and do whatever the thing is again.
I mean, this is better than Ancient Wisdom Unleashed. Whatever.
Well, yes, but what kind of bar are we setting here?
That is the bar right now. So I mean, this is fine. I mean, I think it's fine. I mean, other than the fact that basically the card has to sit in your hand for you don't get immediate use out of it. Yeah. But like, I don't know. Like, so it does it. So it can go on anybody.
Correct.
Sorry, it's obviously the first time when I'm seeing it.
Yeah.
Besides the fact that I cut and paste.
Yeah, when you had messaged it to me real quick. I mean,
I think this is fine. I mean, we said what the problem with star cards is finding them and recurring them. So I mean, like putting this on Battlefield Legends is going to be awesome. I just don't know if big character decks are going to necessarily like have the stars to be able to play this.
But this doesn't require any stars.
I'm sorry, not stars to play it. What I meant to say was have like a free utility slot. That's what I meant to say. Sorry about that.
I think that's that in conjunction with, you only have to wait a turn, but you're doing a lot of stuff to do what you want to do next turn is my major complaint about it. But obviously the star cards are powerful enough that maybe they justify it.
Yeah, you can set up some really funky scenarios with interactions, I'm sure.
There's a lot of them now, so you can, get whatever's appropriate, okay, I didn't get that guy, or I need to steal a turn from them, so I'll Bolt of Lightning, or I just need to accelerate, I'll Leap of Faith, I'll go get, I don't know, I can't think of any other ones off the top of my head.
I mean, you can go get the Autobot, to survive the secret action. You can go get the Decepticon card, deals damage back to the get the triple black card. You can go get
yes, you could get that. I mean, because then you can shuffle it back through.
You can go get Mount the Missiles. You can go get What are the ones? The big thing is like you can go get things like Vandalize, things you would never play that like have utility use to them. I'm trying to I would never get like Universal. Like I guess you could Universal. You pretty much just get Bolt of Lightning.
missiles.
Yeah.
Like I don't think you'd ever get Leap into Fate. I've never really sat and thought about what would happen if I actually was able to get that Unleash combo off. So like,
I mean, the times I have, like I said, it's been in testing bizarre combo decks. So, there was I'm always getting Leap or I'm always getting a specific thing in order to keep chaining the combo, not just the general utility of wishing for a specific single star card.
It's good in the 15U deck.
You think every card's good in that deck? Well, there's been like 2 cards that we've talked about. No, I'm just kidding.
Because you can go get fuel.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you can plan it on top when you play the 15.
Yep. I mean, that also necessitates that you do have some hoops to jump through prior to that, but
yeah, killing guys.
Right.
But like, outside the fact that it's an upgrade play, because it should replace it. It's an upgrade play that doesn't give you any bonuses, doesn't give you anything really, any effect on the game. Like, would you play a mercenary that had this ability? Like, yes, right? Obviously,
yeah. But that's a card that you start the game with, and you don't need to invest anything. And I get that was why you had said you were starting this scenario, but I'm coming around to it from what I initially thought, because like I said, it's the delayed factor, it's investing the card, it's you have to jump through a hoop.
I'm sure it's unplayable, but I'm trying to think of ways that like it could be decent, but I'm sure it's just too many hoops to have to jump through. But with using your upgrade slot for the turn, like because the only way I can see this working is if you're playing against a wide deck. Like, this would help shorter decks against wide decks because you're actually getting value out of killing their little characters. If you're a non-bounty deck, because you're getting a card actually you come back from that disadvantage scenario, which I would assume would have to be, at least you're getting like a one shell stand that doesn't actually damage your guy, kill your guys. So like it may help you in that scenario. So I can see it being like a sideboard for smaller decks against wider decks. Does Metroplex like this card? I'm serious. Like, I don't know.
Well, it's an off pip thing for the Metroplex deck, so we get very weird math wise there. I mean, like you said, you can get fuel cash, but that
does Triptychon like this card to go get more copies of its Triptychon star card?
That could be something. I mean, that's not that's not ridiculous. Especially because Triptychon could be like flip to whatever mode he eats a guy in, eat the guy, go to 9 attack, play this and a action to buff him, crush somebody, go get something else,
Go get the super I still function.
The what, involuntary promotion?
No. Remember Triptychon has this dudes back.
When you said it sounded like you were referring to another card, but
no, I think that's probably why this card exists for Triptychon, to be honest.
I could see that.
I still think it's probably not, but I'm just throwing it out there.
Well, I mean, I'm not as enthusiastic as I once was on Triptychon, let's just say. So,
okay,
we'll leave that for another time.
I mean, I get why this doesn't have any pips, but at the same time, it probably needed some to make it like decent. But I get why it doesn't. I think it's cool that they're putting this on cards. That they're putting bounty abilities on cards, because I think that's cool.
Yeah. That's one that I think I would have expected that again, maybe not necessarily the set. I'm glad it is, but I could certainly see that as a outgrowth from having the mechanic in general.
It's really funny that I quit another game that used the same exact mechanic, the same exact word, the set that came out in that other set.
Uh-oh. What are you saying, Scott?
It's just funny. It's just a funny coincidence. But So yeah, I think it's cool that they're putting it on cards. So I guess this answers our question from. Are we going to see more cards?
Well, other cards. Well, there it is.
We can see them in the next 10 minutes.
Exactly. We better close up quick. Let me check chat real quick. Talking about shoulder holster, double Optimus thing. Jetfire is a good point. Aqua bringing that up, that you can get Jetfire back to put this thing on and get in.
The bounty.
What was that?
The bounty thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
I mean, I always want to find uses for Jetfire, so I should have thought of that when we were talking about it. But Jetfire is always awkward because the hoops you have to jump through to make them do anything.
Yeah, but this is a decent hoop to...
Yeah, like this is a worthwhile goal to try and do that for. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's a good idea. Let's see. Yeah, I think that I'm trying to see if I missed anything. But I think we'll call it there at 3 hours and 3 minutes. This is going to be fun to. It shouldn't be too bad to edit, but we'll get that put together. So, any other thoughts on any of the cards that we had, Scott, as we circle back to the top of the battle cards, or anything else from this set of reveals?
How many more cards do we actually have? Do you have any idea?
I really think it was exactly half at the Spinister reveal, I want to say, or maybe right before that.
Let me check the handy dandy.
You're checking that?
See how many we have.
One of the Dark, yeah, we did. This half was just battle cards. We did the bot cards earlier. So the whole 3 hours is not just the battle cards. I know we talk a lot, but not that much. We're going to be posting both next week.
We have 44 battle cards and 41 bots.
We have them, or that's how many remaining?
We have them.
Okay.
So I don't know what that...
I'm looking at 64 battle cards total.
Well, I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7 of the characters are triptych. 7 of the pictures I have. So knock off 7 there. So
30.
We have 34. We have 34 revealed and 44 battle cards. So what's left?
We have. So there were 64 total battle cards. You got to do one at a time. I can't. I can't do math on stream. What are you doing?
We have 48 battle cards revealed.
Okay, so 48 of 64.
And I believe technically 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. So 34 characters.
34 characters of 52 characters. So we have
18
characters left.
Characters, a bunch of which we know are patrol, like our master guys.
And then
lords.
16 battle cards left.
That's really
not... What was that?
That's really not that much.
Yeah, we're much farther along than I thought we were, to be perfectly honest. There
was a lot revealed.
Well, yeah, we've had multiple, like 4 hour shows, so but there's still the whole month of October left, so I'm curious what the reveal schedule is going to be. Are we in for a what's going to feel like a drought just because of the inundation that we've had prior to this?
Yeah, and then usually around like a week or two from now, we'll get like whatever the reveal of the other set is. Sometimes that happens before we even finish.
Yeah, because that's what happened with the Constructicons, and I mean, Soundwave was the worst kept secret sort of thing.
We had Soundwave before we had even all the Siege 1 spoilers as well.
Exactly, yeah. So I would not be surprised if we heard about that in like the 3rd week of October or something like that.
And then Arwalk, it'll be legal.
That, honestly, when we saw the reveals today for the bots
Yeah,
and
that's
battle
right.
cards. Like that thought went through my head of, are these the promo set and are they going to be legal? And we need it, but turns out they're in the set. So yes, they are legal, but it is possible.
Until Drew said that, that's what I assumed it was because it had a new keyword.
Right. Like you said in the earlier show that I was surprised also that this keyword bounty was revealed so late in the spoiler cycle.
Also because of the way they were shown in a case, I just assumed it was like,
right.
Here's this other product.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, here's our Siege 1 display of a bunch of cards you've already seen, but like, here's this new thing. You know?
Yeah.
You know.
It
doesn't matter to me one way or the other. But.
Right. Well, it's going to matter just depending on where the cards end up being for which events they're legal for, that sort of thing. But beyond that, yeah. So,
yeah.
I think that'll do it. As we said at the top, definitely check out the charity events that we were talking about in both shows. Stay tuned for more. And as always, thank you everybody for listening. Thank you for watching. And please tune in next time for more Tech Talk.
Dan here from VectorSigma.info. We wanted to take this moment to thank all of our patrons for believing in the service we're providing. If you're not yet a member of the Patreon, feel free to click on the link for other podcasts like this one, or verse videos, or any of the other great content that we provide on our YouTube channel. Thanks, guys.